Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson, and this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today, I'm so excited to have on our show, guess who? She's a children's author, and she's one of the writing incubators. And I'm so proud of you. This is Sharon Russell-Robinson's Time to Shine. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome, girl. How are you doing? I know you've been excited to come up here, but how are you doing?
I am fantastic today.
All right. I'm going to ask you about this book process because I know that you've been working on it for a minute and you've had some hurdles. So yes, you have. So tell me, what were some of the hurdles that you had and how did you manage to finally jump those hurdles and get to the results?
Yeah, I thought writing a first of all, I thought writing a children's book was going to be easy peasy. My mind said that, okay, children's book. I'm going to start that first because the children's book, I was not going to write the children's book first. To be honest with you, my mind was going to start with erotic fiction.
I remember, honey.
That is what that's really where I want to go, because that is what I've got all my information on. And
that's the next book, honey.
That was my next book. That's what I got. I got all my research. I got all my stuff. But I also I've had in my mind, and I've had information on as well. It's close to my heart also was some information on near and dear to me as a children's book. But that was where I was going to go. But I decided to do the children's book because of my daughter. So I said, well, let me go ahead on and I'm going to start with this children's book because that's going to be real easy. I'm going to jump on out here and get that out the way. And, because I got plenty of stuff to do and plenty of time. So I get that in there. Man, when I started that children's book, everything and anything happened. First of all, I had a lot of personal things that happened within my family. My in-law, the famous tornado.
Okay, yes,
that impacted us here in Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi.
Yes,
the heart of Mississippi. I'm from the Mississippi Delta. I'm from Shula, Mississippi. And my in-laws are from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. And that famous tornado that came last year, Rolling Fork, devastated them. Left them with nothing but in a bathtub.
Yes, I remember.
They survived with them being in that bathtub. And they were rescued by storm chasers, and they ended up coming to live with us. So that changed the trajectory for a lot of things.
Yes. But thank God they made it. They were alive and they were well. Yes,
they were. And I had already met Denise and the group, and we had already said, well, I'm going to do this book, but life
happens.
Life happens. And so I'm still trying to do that. Not the group not knowing about all this other stuff going on.
Right. But you showing up anyway. Amen.
Showing up. I'm still trying to get that done. I'm still trying to get the book done. And they are going through a lot of stuff in the meantime.
Yeah.
And they're in their 70s. And they're hurt and they're displaced. And so we're having to get through that. And it was an easy thing to do. And the next thing that happened with trying to get them transitioned, my kids, one going to graduate college, the other one having to go through going to he's a soldier, and he's getting ready to be sent to Russia. So I'm like, okay. Then he has 3 kids and a wife, and then she has a health scare and she ends up with cancer. So I'm like, a lot.
Yes.
Life. So we have to take the kids. Well, she ends up with 2 health scares.
Yeah.
Before all that ends up happening, she's having a baby, and she has heart issues. As baby, then the cat. It just life hits you. So
you didn't make that stop you, because I remember all of that was going on.
All that was happening.
Still showing up to our writing incubator.
So all this happening, I still kept coming. Still kept coming. But I'm the grandmother. I'm what they call me, my dear. I insisted on being called my dear. Because I had an awesome my dear, and she reared me. And that's what I said. If I ever became a grandmother, I don't want to become grandmama. I don't want to be called nothing but my dear. Believe me, darling, I'm definitely my dear.
And that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they brought the kids to my dear. And I also had my own health problems going on. So I had to deal with my own health issues. Nobody knew it because I never showed it.
Yeah.
Because I always was the physical person. I'm a very physical person. Bodybuilding, all this other stuff, physical fitness. You never know it with me. I never let it show. So they always thought of me as being the strong.
Well, that's because you are the strong one. But, talking about how strong you are and how things just keep coming at you, you were strong enough to just keep jumping over those hurdles one by one.
I had to, because they'd always say, my mama this and my mama. And then at the same time, I'm also the caretaker for my own mother who lives in Tennessee. So I have to do everything for her from afar. Because she's a single person, because her spouse passed away.
Oh, wow.
So I'm her financial person. I'm her everything. So I take care of my own mom.
Yes.
So I have to take care of both sets of parents. So I'm everybody's everybody.
Man, I know it. Don't I know it? So, tell us a little bit more about, you said you're from Shula, Mississippi. Tell us about how your upbringing influenced your story.
Ooh. I am from a small yet large family. My mother actually had 3 children. However, I'm still the child of my grandparents who had 14. I'm from a farm in Shula, Mississippi. It's like a blues town, a small town up in the Mississippi Delta. It is a farming town, which is, if you know anything, anybody knows anything about the Mississippi Delta, it is an humbling, small, poor town, but we were, you wouldn't know it because our home was rich in love. My granddaddy was a farmer and a preacher.
Yeah.
So we sang, we went to church all the time. We didn't get a chance to do much of anything else. And besides church, school, and doing everything we did. And that's how we grew up, and we loved, and we did all of that stuff. And during that time, that's why I fell in love with writing, actually. There was nothing else to do.
So and growing up in Shula, Mississippi influenced the storytelling part of you.
It did. Because that's how I got away from life, trying to adventure. My adventures came through, and writing came from because I sang. My family were a group, they loved to sing. So they would sing, and I secretly danced and did shows on the side that my grandparents didn't know about. So I had to do the secret things that they didn't know about, and I had a whole group, Janet and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. I did break dance and did a little secret stuff they didn't know about.
Ooh.
Yeah. My grandparents didn't even know about it. They caught me too, girl. I got caught up. They came in the club and caught me doing one of my shows.
Oh, you was in the club too? Okay, all right now.
To the club on one of my shows, and they got caught. The preacher and the first lady caught me. But all of that stuff was a story that influenced my writing.
Yeah.
So I wrote my first set of poems and published it. Actually got it published at 3rd grade, and had it written, and wrote my little plays. And I just love to write. My 5th grade teacher, my mom remembers this well. She talks about it. She talked about it as recently as weeks ago. She remembered me bringing a report home, and my teacher want to call, and she put a failing grade on it. She said that I did not do that report, that I plagiarized it. And I came home crying because she said I plagiarized the report, that certainly I could not have written it, that my parents must have written it for me. My grandparents, my uncle, my aunt, my mama, the whole family went to the school.
That's right.
They went back up to the school to talk with the principal. Even the principal was like, no, because there's a book written about my grandparents. You'd have to know the family history. They're civil rights workers. They're in the Civil Rights Museum here.
Okay.
If you come here, you have to go to the Civil Rights Museum. They built their whole thing about them.
Are you taking me there? Because
yes,
I mean,
they're in the Civil Rights Museum, because
you can't just tell me about this and not take me there.
My town is in the Civil Rights Museum. They're called the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King of Holmes County. There's a book about them. Their mind stayed on freedom.
Oh wow.
They're the Reverend and Dr. Martin Luther King of Holmes County. And they were very instrumental in that. So when they came to when Mr. and Mrs. Russell came to the school, they were like, why are they here? What happened? What did she do? What did she do? Because I never got in trouble for nothing. I knew better. So the teacher said I plagiarized something. And my mom, and they said, no, she did not. She writes like that. So I wrote this, and then she wanted me to write something else. I wrote it on the fly. Just wrote a story.
She was testing you.
Wrote a story on the fly, off my head. And she said, okay, I stand corrected. And I was writing stuff, essays and stuff for contests. Spelling bee student, because no problem. So I was always a writing person.
Yes.
So my whole thing was, and I wrote to get away from, because I lived on a dirt road in the country. And for African Americans back in that era, in the way we grew up, and like I said, I had 14. There were 14 children that my grandparents had, and me and my brothers and sister were like me and my two brothers.
Yeah,
2 brothers and me. We were the 3 grandchildren, the extra little grandchildren that they raised on the farm. We were the extras, and they raised us with them. We were the last 7 of the last 7 that grew up down there with them, because the other extra grew away. But we raised with the last 7. We were like their little brothers and sisters. So we kind of grew up on the farm with them, and they raised us, and we went on the way to college.
Beautiful. Now, I know you went to college and you got your degree, but you went into human resources. How did you transition from human resources to becoming a children's book author?
First of all, I went away to Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. If they want me to go to the Delta, stay in the Delta and go to Mississippi Valley and the other Delta school. I got scholarships everywhere but where I want to go.
But you were going to do your thing because you got a little bit of rebellion in you.
I want to dance. I want to do all that. My mama said, be realistic. Nope. You going, nope. I said, okay, then I'm going to be a pilot. Nope. My brother became the pilot. I said, you know what? Y'all just won't let me do me. So I ended up just going on to Jackson State, and I went on to actually, and I didn't even pick a major. I went undecided. So when I got there, they gave me computer science. I said no. So I decided to say, so I did my finger like that, and I picked communications. Mass communications is what I ended up with. So I ended up with mass comm and graphic design. When I got out, I got my first job with an advertising agency. Hated it. And that was an accidental thing. I ended up in a poetry company. One of my best friends is how I met Shirley Danzy.
Yes.
Shirley Danzy Brown. I met her cousin. She became my best friend, Teresa Key. And she introduced me to Shirley. They were cousins. And I call her cuz. And that's how we met 25, 30 years ago. So I ended up working for a portrait company, which transitioned to me as a production supervisor into human resources. And that's how I ended up in the accidental job as human resources.
And then how did you transition from that to becoming a children's book author?
how I got there is I ended up retiring at 30 some years of age. When I met my husband. My husband, when I met him about 30 some years ago, almost 30 years ago, he had his own business. He was self-employed. And as he was self-employed, he became he allowed me to come out of the workforce because he was a contractor.
Okay.
And I was working his business. I did all the books for the business and did all the stuff and help him. He said, well, you're doing that for that company. You've done that so long for them. Why don't you help make our company do what it does?
All right.
Come help us be number one.
Yes.
Do the family like you're doing for that family, for Tyson Foods family. They don't do us. I said, baby, you're right. Let's do us.
That's right.
I came home because our kids didn't see me.
Right. When we work, honey,
we work so hard for
outside the home. If you work outside the home,
we have a home. My baby girl said, "You have a home, Mama," and that's what the book is about.
Yes,
because the inspiration for the book is about her and why the Whoobie came about.
Tell me all about it. Tell us, because everybody's listening.
The book is because my mom gave her a pillow when she was young. When she was just born. My mom had this thing when she'd give her grandbabies a pillow. She put all her grandbabies on a pillow. And when she got this pillow, I worked so much. I was away from home so much working with the company that my mom put her babies right on a pillow. And she took to this pillow. And we didn't know at the time, but my baby had a medical problem, a kidney disease. Something was wrong. We knew that she was thirsty all the time and other different little things. We didn't know that something was wrong, but I wouldn't leave it alone. I was the candidate. I was always watching her, wanting to know if something was wrong. But I worked so much. My husband was the stay-at-home dad with the kids because he had a self-employment job. He could but I was always on the go, and he'd bring the baby to me to whatever city I was in. He would really do that. So he would I would try to figure out what was going on with her at the same time. But she had this little pillow. She would take the pillow and would put it up against me. And it would have my perfume on it. And that was the scent I carried. I had a special She rub it up. She said, Mommy, rub it. And I rub it up against me. And she'd smell it and she'd hold it. And so she'd call Whoobie, Whoobie. And so I'm like, okay. So as she grew older, I was like, oh, that little ratty pillow, Cody. I try to take it and I wash it. And she, no, wash it. No, because I didn't realize what it meant to her. I didn't realize the significance. So as we figured out eventually what was wrong with her and everything, she wanted to take it everywhere. We went to California. We came back through and we stopped at a hotel. We left that pillow at a hotel.
Oh, Lord.
We were 3 hours out and we realized, I thought my husband had it. He thought I had it. We left it. We had to turn around and go back and get it.
3 hours in?
Yeah. It was no shipping. It was no nothing. We couldn't chance it. We had to go back and get it. It was that serious. I said, we got to do something. I said, no, we got to wean her off it. Just like a pacifier, just like we got to wean her off it. There was no weaning off of this thing. This is ridiculous. So as time went on, I said, we got to talk to a psychologist about this. This is ridiculous. This is crazy.
Getting serious.
Yeah, this is getting serious. So she said, okay. So when she became like a preteen, she still had this pillow. Something wrong with a teenager. This is wrong. So after she got sick and she started having little troubles with, school and not school per se. We found out she was intellectually gifted.
Okay.
Intellectually gifted. Because the teachers had said and the administrators, when she scored 100 percentile on the standardized state testing across the board.
Wow.
So they put her in a gifted classes where she was, okay. So they found out, we took her to the psychologist and she talked to her and talked to us and said that, don't take the pillow.
Oh,
I said, what? She said, let me talk to you and tell you. She said, do you realize what that pillow does? She said, ask her about the pillow. She said, the pillow's you.
Oh.
I said, what? She said, the pillow's you. She said, when you go away to work, when you did all that, she said, when you went there, the pillow, she said, yes, Mom. The pillow was a symbol of you.
Ooh.
The pillow had your scent. The pillow had your the pillow was you.
Comfort.
The comfort of this. It was the symbol of always when you're not there. When I went to my friend's house, you're always with me, Mom. You're my best friend.
Oh.
The pillow is my best friend. I did everything.
We're not weaning her again.
No. So it was always the symbol of something. So that's what the psychologist had told me, that the pillow is a symbol of something. She said that we all have them.
Yes.
To some people, it's just like Linus in the blanket. To some people, it could be an object of some kind. It doesn't have to be a pillow. It could be a blanket.
Yeah.
It could be a toy. It could be anything. Everybody has a whoobie.
Wow. That's really deep.
And that's
I did not expect it to come around like that.
I did not either.
I thought this story was all about her insecurities, but this story really was how your daughter, when you were gone, found comfort in her whoobie that reminded her of the comfort her mother gave her. Oh, that's so beautiful.
She's why I actually came home, and I remember going at 4:00 that morning and writing my letter of resignation. Clear as day, because when I went in to kiss her, good morning, good night, she pulled me into her, and she said, "I love you, Mama, but I never see you."
Oh,
first grade. I love you, Mom, but I never see you.
Oh, Jesus, that hurt.
I said, because me and my husband had just had a conversation about. You ever thought about you thought more about what I said about coming home? Like, I did, but for me, my career was everything.
Right.
My grandmother had said, my dear, you're such a career hound. My granddaughter is such a career hound. She said, I admire you for that. And, she had told me the story because she was a career person. Back in the day when women didn't go to college, she had started the first Head Start down there in the Delta. And way back in that era when that was not the thing.
Right.
First to go to college when Jackson State wasn't a university. She was one of the pioneers of that kind of thing. But she sacrificed and gave it up. Home and raised 14 kids.
Yes.
And what she told me was that if you ever get the opportunity, don't give it up. Not to say that she regretted it, but she wanted for me.
Yes.
And that kind of did something to me.
Yes.
And that she didn't.
Made you want it real bad. I'm not giving this up.
Real bad because I looked up to her.
Yes. And what a gift that she asked you,
And
you love her.
When my husband met me, I was a career woman.
Yes.
I was so into my career that I almost didn't have the children thing, and I almost didn't do none of that stuff. It was real hard to hook me. So it was very important to me to keep this thing going like that. And so he was like, you gonna give that up? I'm like, this is my career. You asking me to give it up?
A lot of times, do you notice that a lot of times we do things, right? That we're living for our parents and grandparents, doing things for our grandparents and their parents, and not realizing that we're just doing it for them. We're not really doing it for our family and for us.
Yes, because she was in her 80s, and we were having that conversation before she passed away. Because we were very close, very, very close. I'd lay my head, I'd go and lay my head on her lap and stuff, and we talk and powwow, and I take her shopping. We close.
Yeah.
And I would say, that's it. She say, so you gonna give that? You gonna give it up, or what you gonna do? She said, she had changed a little bit in her thought process. She started saying, she said, well, sometimes, I know what I told you. But sometimes, I see you, but I see you working a little too hard, and I see sometimes your sacrifices. It's okay to take another look at the family.
Yes.
I see her softened stance at that you can sometimes. She said, don't forget about your family though. She had taken another stance at it, that she backed up in her age because she when she was passing.
But Sharon, I believe that she still had that in the younger her because she decided that she was going to put her family first instead of the career. And she wanted to show you that, baby girl, I know I told you this thing, but family come first.
But family come first. Family come first now. So my baby pulled me in, whispered and kissed me.
Oh,
I went straight to that doggone office. Turned that light on, unlocked that door, turned that light on, and wrote that. And my bosses, I know when they got that, they were like, what? Why that thing lit up that morning. That morning, they like, what? Because I had been with that company for years. And they were like, what do we do? What happened? What just happened? Is there anything we can do? I mean, no, it's not that. It's nothing you did. It's not that. That's not what I'm doing. You'll never understand what's going on here. Yes. This is beautiful. Something I got to do. So I had to write this because for parents to understand there's something that you listen to your kids from a parent perspective. Yeah. Because my niece, she just as recently as several months ago, she told my mother-in-law that she lost her Whoobie, a pillow that my mother-in-law gave her. She lost her pillow at 14. Her whole life has spiraled since then. She said it ain't been the same. Oh, she said she has not been the same
because the Whoobie represents a person to her.
To her, it did.
Yeah.
She said she's also she hasn't been centered since then. She's wholehearted. She don't even know about my book. She don't know nothing about that. She was just talking to her. And she said, my mother-in-law said, she don't even know about your book or nothing like that. She just out of the blue mentioned that. And she said, what? And my mother-in-law told me that. And I said, there is some truth in that. I wrote it. And that's why I want to make sure I share that. Yes. And I put that in the page. There's a page dedicated in there to tidbits of information that I'll share from me to parents.
That was so important for you. I remember that.
Little tidbits that I've learned that I want to share with them. Listen to them. There's a village. Listen to the kids and share it. And if you want to seek some help, get some help. Ain't nothing wrong with that for asking for help.
Right. We need to ask for help more.
Because I went. My daughter. She said she was going to major in psychology. Is what she wanted to be, a therapist actually. So she didn't mind going to see a counselor or a therapist. It was her idea. Yes. Because she wanted to do it first. She then changed the major later, but that's what she wanted to actually do. Because she wanted to just talk to somebody about it outside of whatever. She didn't mind talking.
It's important. No. It's important. We see doctors for ailments as
everything else, Bobby.
Everything else, yes. So this is important. It's our mind. It's how you maintain your sanity. So it's important. Sharon, tell me, what is the most important thing you want parents to take away and the children to take away? Because this book is written for children, but you know how we be the ones reading the children's books. Okay, so what do you want us to take away, and what do you want the children to take away?
I want them to have fun with it. I want people to let them use their imagination. Don't be so quick to not to say that to dispel their imagination. If they want to create and let them imagine something, let them take their make-believe and just have fun with it as much as they want to. Yes. If they have something special in their life in this day and time, and don't take things so seriously.
Ooh, that's another one.
There's so much seriousness going on, and the crazy and the everything is so out there that just enjoy it.
It's not that serious.
Not that serious. Just enjoy it for what it is. And let these kids have fun. Let them use their imagination. And as adults, we can tend to use a little bit of that of ourselves.
Okay. All right. I agree. I believe that as adults, we can find more time to be more creative
We
and
can
tap
find
into our creativeness. Yes. And
we
play more. Play
and
more.
play more and just play more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm glad I did the children's book first, because I think we need that. I think I need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what age group is your book written for?
Anyone from the ages of, I say, 3 to 5.
Okay.
Put from 3 to 5. But I've known my grandkids actually,
Mm-hmm.
they are anywhere from, they're two. My 2-year-old is very advanced for his age.
Yes.
He's advanced, and my 5 and 7-year-olds, they're advanced, but they enjoy it. Read it to them. I read it to my little cousin. He's 6, and he enjoyed it. So I say it's from 3 to 5-year-olds, but the 6 and 7-year-olds enjoyed it.
It's really a great book for young readers. It's so yeah, you can read it to
They were
anyone
trending.
under you can read to anyone under 6, and anyone that can read this book and enjoy and get a lesson out of it. There's
Uh-huh.
something
They were
very
trying
special
to
about
guess it.
there's something very special about this book that you haven't brought up yet, and I really want you to share with the audience because this book is written in English and in
Spanish.
Spanish. Look at this. I got the Spanish version. It's a
Over.
flipper over. So you get this book in the English and then you flip it around and you have your book with you, Sharon?
Yes, I do. So when you
Yep.
read it, if you're reading it in English,
Uh-huh.
once you finish, if you are an avid reader of, or if you turn it over, flip it,
Mm-hmm.
and read it in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Tell me why you wanted to write this book in a Spanish version because I know you don't speak Spanish. So I was like,
I do
why is
not.
it so important? Why is it so important? I was trying to get her not to because I was like, girl, I've never done this before. Okay, so this is
I
going to
know.
be challenging. So tell us why this was so important for you to have a Spanish version of this story.
Okay. Growing up in the Mississippi Delta, this was so funny to me. One of the things that really struck me, we were required when we were growing up, and I don't know if you were, Denise, in where you grew up at, but we were required here to have a foreign language requirement for, especially, and our foreign language requirement was to speak French.
Ah.
I took 3 years, 2 years of speaking French.
Mm-hmm. You chose that.
And that, that's all they offered.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went on to speak to 2 years of at college.
Uh-huh.
They told us that was the next the next language to have was French. Was going to the next speaking language. Everybody was gonna be speaking French, and that was the next
in the USA.
Yes, in the USA. We're gonna have to.
They weren't paying attention.
They weren't paying attention, and that's what they told us, and that's all they offered.
Uh-huh.
That's wrong. Spanish is definitely the language that everyone's speaking, and that is the chosen language of that we have, and it's a beautiful language.
Uh-huh.
I have met a lot of Spanish-speaking friends, family members,
Mm-hmm.
and in the family and everything, and almost everyone I know seems to know and love and speak Spanish. And I said, you know what? No, they got me on that one. I said, so I chose to make sure that my audience also would have this book in Spanish as well, to translate this book across the aisles.
Mm-hmm.
Because often, so many times, this message, because the next neighbor is quite often, is Spanish speaking.
Yes.
And why not have someone else, have the next neighbor be able to translate this particular book, because the message is so important. we need it to be in not only an English speaking language, but at least the next chosen spoken language, which I do believe is a Spanish speaking language. So that's why I chose to also not put it in not just English, but also put it in Spanish. So that's why I chose to also write it in Spanish.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really love working on this project with you. I think the illustrations were amazing. Tell us a little bit about why you chose the illustrations that you did, because you could have gone any other way, but you chose this form of illustration, and I believe that it made the story pop. Tell me about the illustrations.
Oh my gosh, the illustrations. My illustration, Kamala Bingham. I chose this illustrator. It took me I went through several illustrators before I pretty much drilled down on the one I chose, Kamala Bingham. Hers were, I like the way it brought to life sort of that Pixar kind of, they sprang off the page and
yes,
brought it to life to look. I wanted to look more real, and I wanted someone that could bring my family to life.
Yes.
Someone that can make the pictures look more real, look more like myself and my grandchildren. And could take the pictures. I actually submitted the pictures of myself, my children, and my grandchildren.
That's why it looks so much like your family.
Like your family. I sent her pictures of my family. She's from Pakistan, and I sent her the pictures of my actual family. And I told her to mesh the pictures together and make them look like us.
She did a great job.
As close to us as you possibly could.
She did a great job.
She said, no problem. And I said, and I was wondering, I said, well, would the language barrier be a problem? She said, no. And we were going back and forth. At first I thought it would be, but no, it wasn't. And and we've been, and as a matter of fact, then we end up becoming great friends. And then talking back and forth and getting to know each other. And over the last year and a half, so we've been corresponding back and forth, and it became a great relationship. She's a great illustrator. I will recommend her wholeheartedly.
100%. You both did an amazing job. Beautifully written book. The story is great, but the lessons are so much more, I think, impactful. And so I thank you, Sharon, for spending the time to write this book, but also for being obedient, for following your heart and writing this very important book so that children with insecurities can, understand that these insecurities don't make them different. It just makes them, it's their unique superpower. And thank you for taking the time to write the story and to share the lessons. You also have like you mentioned earlier, there were tips in the back for parents. That I know you were like, girl, I have to have those tips in here for the parents. And she has them in Spanish too, guys. Let me tell you, the book is identical. The Spanish version is identical to the English version. Yes.
I wanted to transcend across the world. I wanted in both languages.
Yep. Tips. So it's in the middle of the book. It is author's tips for parents to help kids navigate insecurities. And insecurities are not just there because your children, or because you're absent. It could be there for other reasons. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, but your children can have insecurities too. I know Sharon shared that she was not there, a lot when she just started her parenting career, motherhood career, but she realized that it was breaking her baby's heart, and she had the support, because sometimes it's breaking their heart, but we don't have the support. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. But you had the support so you can make the shift and make a change, and your family is successful because of the choices that you were able to make.
Any number of reasons. You can be autistic, it could be anything, or just whatever.
Whatever it is that makes your child have that insecurity, or whatever insecurities they have, get this book, read about it, and see how you can help them through it. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. We're here to help strengthen parents and to make their lives a little bit, a little bit better, a little bit easier. So go out there and get this book. Sharon, please tell them, where can they pick up this book?
Okay. Well, my website, we're in the middle of getting that
yes,
getting that finished, completed.
mm-hmm.
That should be completed within the next week or two right now. But you can also find me on my Facebook at Yolanda Verse LLC.
Okay.
My Instagram would be Yolanda Verse 01.
Mm-hmm.
And my other is YolandaVerse at outlook.com.
Okay, so The Adventures of River and Her Whoobie
Will be
is the
found.
name of the book. So look it up. You can get this book on her website that is building.
Yes. We'll be finished.
I think we're gonna have to name it The Adventures of River and Her Whoobie, or Yolanda Verse. Or Yolanda Verse.
You can find it on the Yolanda Verse.
Okay. All right.
On the Yolanda Verse.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon, for coming. I love to ask 3 questions to all of my guests before they leave. Mm-hmm. So don't think I'm gonna spare you, okay? What a bold promise that you can share with the audience before you leave.
A bold promise that I can share with the audience before I leave. Mm-hmm. I like to turn my books into a movie. Mm-hmm. I like to turn my book into a movie.
Exciting.
I think that would be a pretty big.
That's a promise, y'all.
Big promise.
Okay.
A paradigm shift.
All right, we're gonna have to get that done.
And if I could do that, I think that would be a pretty big shift.
You are just moving every goal.
What do you think?
Just bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's amazing big goal right there.
If I can get that done.
Well, if you can get this done, you certainly could get that done.
If I can get that particular information, I think I would be okay.
What is a bold statement that you can share with the audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
That pretty much goes hand in hand with it. Yeah, with the same thing. Being able to turn this book, if I turn this book in particularly into a movie, and it works based upon the idea of the movie, I think and if I can turn the book into a movie, given what the movie would be about, mm-hmm. which is trying to help kids overcome their fears and their anxieties. Mm-hmm. I think, and given the right kind of character and the right kind of producer, that could change the minds of some people, get them to see what the idea is, mm-hmm. get them to see what I'm trying to say. Yeah, with it, and that can change some people's ideas and get them to, kind of see the thoughts and processes I'm trying to drive home, because it's near and dear to my heart. It's basically talking about this Whoobie, and I'm pretty much focusing on the Whoobie.
All right, that's a good one. Yeah. What's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future? So I think you've already said this, because that's bold already. Just, the goal of making it into a movie. But what's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future that nobody knows about yet?
Leaving my unfamiliar. Nobody knows I want to do this. Probably leaving, especially the people that know me from here. Leaving my familiar, which is my home. Nobody pretty much knows that they don't expect me to leave Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. But that's something that may be cooking, huh?
I might be cooking. Want to maybe make a move somewhere. Ooh. Maybe West. I don't know. I don't know about New York or anything like that.
Oh, let me know, because I'm in New York, so
I don't know about.
You can come through, Queen.
I don't know about.
It's not New York. It's not New York.
But
Well, you're not telling me yet. You're not telling us yet, but we know there's something big coming up.
It's something big, maybe.
That's right.
Something my way, or something.
Okay, I'm with it, Sharon. Just keep me posted, because no matter where you are, we are in this tribe together, and you cannot leave this family.
I can't leave. I can't leave this family.
And I know you got another book in you.
Yes.
I know. It's very different, guys. Totally different. We talked about it in the beginning.
I got several books in me.
Yes.
And I'm definitely not leaving the tribe. No time soon. No time soon.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming up here and talking about all the little things that made this book so special. You are amazing. You wrote a wonderful book, and I thank you so much for taking the time to share this story about insecurities and about how children can get over those hurdles. Thank you for sticking with it, because you've had some hurdles yourself. Talk about hurdles, honey. You had some trials and stuff trying to pull you back from getting this book done, but you didn't make anything stop you. So we appreciate you. We thank you.
Yes.
And for those of you out there who
want to get the book, I got you. I just found that. Sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead.
But I do have it. My website designer.
Yeah.
I told her, come on, girl, come on here, come through for me. Just give me my information. My handle to be able to
for the website
to get in touch with me and to get this book is the Yolanda Verse.
Okay, I knew it.
This book at https
yolandaverse.com. Okay.
That's right.
She was not going to let us leave here without that information.
No.
That's right. So please, guys, go to yolandaverse.com.
yolandaverse.com.
Yes, and get you a copy of The Adventures of River and Her Whoobie by Sharon Russell-Robinson.
Yes. I'm on Stripe. Yeah, you can purchase it through Stripe.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening. And if you would like to write your book and publish it, send me an email at authordnicholson@gmail.com. I can help you get your book idea out of your head and onto paper so that you can become a published author and make some money, honey.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.